This time, I broke all the rules. Hey everybody, this is DM Mike, and today is cutscene, or you know what, I'm going to start calling them radio dramas, because that's just pretty much what they are. I keep using cutscenes, but I think that's more of a video game term. So today is radio drama number 6. This one, I was trying to come up with a name for this particular one, and it's pretty much, right now I'm just calling it the Battle of Ravadon. And this particular cutscene broke a lot of my rules. What are the rules of cutscenes or radio dramas? You know, if there are any. I don't know. They're arbitrary, right? I'm completely making them up as I go along. But I have found, if you're going to create radio dramas, you know, you're going to go this route with the music and stuff. I find that about 2 minutes to 3 minutes tops, 3 minutes tops is about where you want to be. That's a good cutscene. Not that you're going to bore people to death, though you might. You don't want to bore them to death for a very long time. So 2 to 3 minutes is kind of the sweet spot I've noticed over the course of many years. But every once in a while, and I think I mentioned this in my last video, or cutscene video number 4, every once in a while inspiration hits. And my advice when it comes to inspiration is to always take advantage of it. Whether it's in the moment DMing, you and another player going at it, you and the table going at it, in battle, in role-playing, and when inspiration hits, you take it and you take advantage of it. And in this particular cutscene, inspiration hit, and I took advantage of it. Because this cutscene is not 2 minutes long. It's not 3 minutes long. It's not 3.5 minutes long. It's not 4 minutes long. It's not 4.5 minutes long. It's not 5 minutes long. It is 5 minutes and like 38 seconds, maybe 45 seconds at the most. So I have completely broken my rule for this, right? And why is that? Again, because of the inspiration. It flowed naturally. It went out, and frankly, I feel like this is one of the better cutscenes I've done in a long time. And so I'll explain a little bit why I went this route, why I did this, and why you may have to do this at some point. Like if it fits the story, and that's why I did it, because it fits the story. But we'll get into that. So let me go ahead. Again, remember, there's going to be no images. You're just going to listen to it as my players would at the table. We kind of, I don't know if I've said this. Perhaps I have, but we turn off all the lights when we do these cutscenes. And I have LED candles that I purchased off Amazon that actually have a remote. And I put candles like all up around the room, just all LEDs. I don't got to point to them and turn them all on. And we kind of turn on the lights and we listen to it. That's how we do it. So that's one of the reasons why I've also gotten away from this, you know, trying to find all these images, like I said before, waste of time. So anyway, guys, let's just jump into it right now. This is the Fall of Ravadon, the Battle of Cricket. Oh, one last thing before we transition over. This cutscene occurs way in the past, so it actually involves Cricket, who is our Fae. And I say this because if you haven't been watching all the other videos, you probably don't know who I was saying. And I kind of really jumped to the cutscene a little too early, or radio drama. But Cricket is our Fae, the fairy that's following the characters along. But this is her early years. This is when she was something else in the Fae Wilds, and this cutscene involves her and this king of trolls called Ravadon, and their fight on one of the last bitter, destructive wars that the Fae had against the trolls. Yeah, that's it. I just want to make sure that was clear, because I just watched my other video. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even say what the heck the cutscene was about. Brilliant. Anyway, okay, let's get into it. The Fall of Ravadon. The black troll, towering amongst his enemies, spears sticking from his hide like the hunted mammoths of the Elder Plains, crashes his way through the burning landscape. The Red Knights, attempting to stop its assault, pepper it with steel and arrows and iron as the lumbering fiend continues to wreak havoc. He blasts, shatters, and pummels the knights beneath his blood-stained heels, crushing both horse and soldier with a cracked and splintering immortal bow. In the distance, a dim light streaks across the landscape as Cricket, one of the few remaining fairies still alive, red war paint upon her face, holds aloft her long sword and shield, setting up for her next attack. Her hair swims gently as if underwater, her deep, penetrating eyes absorbing the onslaught of her enemy upon the killing field. Behind her, a small force of battle-hardened sprites emerge, gathering in mass around their commander. The knights of the field continue to break and crumble at the beast's onslaught, the Emperor Troll of Black Skull pummeling the humans with his enchanted hammer. The troll emits a war whoop among the dead as he grinds a group of soldiers into the mud.
Here's a black dog for you accursed knights.
Cricket's battalion sways in the wind, a star field of Fae, battered and torn, but ready for their final assault. Cricket wipes the blood from her face, raises her sword to the sky, and emits a war cry that rivals the bellows of her patriots. Wounded, fatigued, and near death, the detachment of fairies brings their assault on the King of Trolls, attacking with lethal precision as the last knight falls to the Black Cat. They spin and whirl in small groups, evading the trolls' swings as their enchanted swords from realms beyond the reach of mortal man slice, cut, and sever his leathery skin. Cricket scurries across the giant's back, slicing at its armor attachment, as several of her soldiers are crushed in the troll's iron grip, their celestial energy exploding between his fingers.
Bloody Fae, black dogs of the Red Knights. Your mischief will not bring the end of Ravadon.
His giant hammer falls, crushing another small group of fairies as he fires a stream of electrical energy at a squad approaching him from behind, frying the fairies mid-flight. Cricket fires a succession of arrows into the back of the beast's neck, getting his attention as he swings his weapon wide, clipping her wing and slamming her to the ground. Her guards rush to her aid and attack the troll, preventing the beast from committing the death blow to their commander. Cricket manages to slowly roll over and watch as the last of her people are butchered by its vile bloodlust. Suddenly, a surge of energy from her ethereal core, the likes of which she had never felt before, emerges, emitting a red glow as she steadies herself among the debris. Frozen to the spot, she braces herself and waits for the troll as it lumbers to her across the inky landscape, raising his hammer high.
Only we remain, little sprite. Today, both fairy and man have faith. And Ravadon needs.
The troll raises his enchanted hammer, victory only moments away. And suddenly, Cricket, feigning exhaustion, turns and explodes with exhilarating speed, flying directly through the mouth of the troll, shattering teeth and tongue. She erupts from the back of his skull, pulling his brain matter out the other side. With a final pull, the troll's brain falls to the ground with a wet splatter. Cricket falls among the debris and looks up as the troll's eyes roll and bleed, a residual slime oozing down its chest. The troll topples backward, hitting the ground with a tremendous and thunderous vibration, as Cricket narrowly escapes his crushing weight. Smoke and dust cover her, as her chest rises and falls, the adrenaline and soulful fright washing away, leaving her in the grips of exhaustion. Her emerald sword drops to the ground, as her chest rises and falls in great gasps. Her battalion, and those she loved and served, butchered. The final battle of the Black Slayers coming to its bitter conclusion on a field of red. A deathly, hollow silence fills her ears. The only sound, the torn red banner of the knights, rustling in the ash-laden wind. Alone, in the quiet wasteland, her light slowly fading, Cricket weeps. And there you have it, folks. That is cutscene number 6. And as you can tell, it was over 5 minutes. It hits about somewhere between 5:30, 5:45, 5 minutes, 45 seconds. Why? Why did I do that? It was for the purposes of drama. That was the reason why. First of all, yes, because of inspiration, it hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this would be great. This would be great. The reason why I went this route is because of what was occurring in the campaign. Sometimes you have to take that in consideration. What is occurring? What is happening between your players and the environment and the enemies? And if you watch the campaign diary number 4, we left off on a pretty big high note, a very tense moment where well, it's kind of hard to recap. I've already recapped it in another video. But essentially, Cricket's in a very awkward situation. Okay, I'm going to do a weird edit here because I lost my train of thought, so this is just going to pick up. I know it's going to be weird, but what can you do? But anyway, this I wanted to ratchet up the tension for Cricket. I wanted my characters to feel connected to Cricket because I knew in the next section something really terrible was going to happen to her. It was in the books. It was planned. I felt like that's where it needed to go. And so instead of just going to that moment where I was going to have Cricket tortured and basically almost killed over and over and over again, and there's a reason for that. But before I went that route, I wanted to build more of a connection between my players and Cricket, the Fae that's part of our party. If you've watched other campaign diaries, you know a little bit about her. But I wanted to build more of a connection. So I felt like, let's dive into her backstory and show Cricket when she was a warrior. And she actually has a different name, and her real name is not Cricket. I'm not going to get into that right now, but that's not her real name. So we went back and we showed this kind of intense but also intimate moment of Cricket. And I really wanted it to be like this crescendo of a battle and crazy things happening at the very end. Give it a soft tone. And the last image they have, of course, is Cricket weeping on the battlefield just through a traumatic experience. And the thing is, she's about to go through another one. And so the reason why I put that in there, and I went that long, was because of inspiration. It just flowed into the keyboard, and I just couldn't stop writing. And it was really, I'm tooting my own horn, right? But it felt good to me. But also, I saw an opportunity to plant the seeds of more drama and more connection to NPCs. I love it when characters are connected to NPCs. I love that. I put effort and time in my NPCs like any other dungeon master. And not all of them are the same, of course. Some come and go, and they're just little, for lack of a better word, like cameo appearances. But they come and go and whatnot. But every once in a while, there's some that stick around. And I wanted them to stick around having, the backstories and flesh those out a little bit, bring those to life. So I've talked a lot about these radio dramas, how you can use them. You can open sessions, you can close sessions, you can use them as cliffhangers. But in this instance, I use them as a device to connect my players a little bit more on an emotional level with an NPC. So, and this will not be the last one. No, it probably won't be another 5 minutes. Who knows? This campaign may go on for another 6 months. And when inspiration hits, I'm going to take advantage of it. But I think it's going to build. We haven't played yet, right? So I'm kind of jumping the gun here. I'm recording this before we even play the next section. But I have a feeling the way I kind of set things up, it will have an effect, specifically on one character at least. And that's the goal. That is the intention. So yes, you can open them, you can close them, you can use them with cliffhangers, but you also can use them to interweave all your players to your NPCs. We write a lot of backstories. Sometimes it's cool to bring those to life. Let them go. Just put them into a radio drama. So that's why. And of course, it broke all my rules because it was over 3 minutes. And to my credit, I've done a lot of cutscenes, a lot. And you can see some of my SoundCloud from other various adventures, a lot of one-shots. But, I've been pretty disciplined. They don't tend to go over 3.5 minutes or so. So I've been pretty good. But this time it jumped to 2 minutes. And it took, for a 5-minute and 45-second, roughly, radio drama, it took about 9 hours to create. So keep that in mind. The further you go along in your radio drama, the longer it's going to take, obviously, to render it and make it what you want. It's amazing to me that 5 minutes took about 9 hours. But that's part of the course. I think, videos like this, sound files, just eat up time. They really, really do. And so that, of course, was trying to find the right music and the right sound effects and putting in some placeholders every once in a while because I wasn't too sure. Luckily, I did recordings in one take and it flowed really well. But just keep that in mind, as DMs, I know we always have time sucks. We've, either reading the adventure, or we're going through our monster manuals, or we're going through the DM's guides, or we're just sitting, pondering, thinking about things. How can we do this? How can we do that? Or we have like physical boards we're setting up, or models. Look, we all have our tastes in how we set our games up. This is just another one that takes a lot of time, to be honest. I've seen people use that much time just setting up models, or painting their miniatures for games. So I think it falls in line with the hobby. I really do. I think it falls in line with the hobby. So anyway, guys, that was just another example. Yes, you can break the rules. Yes, you can use cutscenes for various radio dramas for various purposes. And this particular purpose was to show a pretty powerful moment in Cricket's life, and to kind of be a driving force for the next piece of drama, where Cricket was going to be brutalized and tortured by some of the enemy NPCs. The radio drama was the kindling, like just kind of putting it under the players to start lighting it. I guess very primitive. We didn't have matches, just two sticks together. I don't know, a blowtorch, but just lighting that up. And then when Cricket became tortured, or is going to be tortured, I expect anger levels from these players to go up to 11, just with what I have planned for Cricket. Right. So, guys, that's it. That's all I've got today. I don't know if you'll have a campaign diary or something will be coming up after this. There's always more stuff, always new cutscenes and different things. So I hope this continues to give you ideas on how to use these things and what you can do. And I actually did record my last process, so I've got the video for it. Just got to put it together and kind of present it in a way that makes sense. Don't know if it will or not. One of these days I'm going to get that right and how it works. But hopefully it'll be soon. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got. I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.